Get sporting news for every season on Outdoor Call Radio with Outdoors Day. Saturdays from 7 to 9 on Des Moines Sports Leader, 102.1 FM and 1350 ESPN Des Moines.
Welcome into the Toyota postgame show. Drake is on to the championship game. They beat Belmont 57-50. They were down by a dozen in the first half. They come back and win by 7. And a big reason why is this man standing here with us right now, Cam Maniau. Cam, you put the team up for the final time in this game on an offensive board put back and then 2 big defensive rebounds late in the game. Take us through the final few tense moments here in St. Louis.
I just knew, a big thing for us is winning the margin. So I knew getting offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds were going to be big. So I was just crashing as hard as I can, trying to make sure that I get the rebounds so that I can help my team win this game.
All right, you guys are down 12 in the first half. What is the message for you guys during that time?
Just to stick together, not come at each other. Just stick together and play how we know we can play like we did yesterday. And just when we came out, we flipped it and we turned it around and got it going. And then we went on that big run to start and we didn't look back after.
All right, Cam, I could talk to you forever, but Coach Mack is right here. So I'll let you pass the microphone over to him. Thank you for your time. That is Cam Maniau joining us on the Toyota postgame show. We're also streaming this live on the Drake Athletics Facebook and YouTube pages. Coach Mack, what can you say about that?
That was fun. I mean, the first half, I hate to say it, I was a bad coach the first half. I didn't think we played well. I thought we played frustrated. I thought I caused a lot of those issues just by me being frustrated with our, just our execution. But frustration is not going to help them correct the problem. I thought we corrected it that second half. Playing, like we've talked about before, we kind of stole it from Wyoming and the football program there, and, take them to the deep end. And, the deep end isn't always easy. And it wasn't easy for us. I thought Belmont did a great job. We just have to be better coming out of games.
All right, Coach, coming out of the locker room, you guys were great. It's an 8-0 run by Bennett Sturts to begin the second half. How were you guys able to flip the script so quickly?
It just went one-on-one. I mean, went one-on-one.
Let your best player do the same.
And we guarded better coming out of half two. We were just jumpy, hoppy, and again, it's my fault. We were jumpy and hoppy, and instead of correcting the issue, I didn't do a very good job of getting it there. I'll be better next game. I'm just glad that our team picked it up, and I thought they did a great job of it.
How about the defense out of Isaiah Jackson down the stretch? You rolled with your dogs. Yeah. Isaiah Jackson, Cam Maniau with the big boards and the putback. How about your starters getting the job done for you guys in the final minutes?
Yeah, they were awesome. Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Jackson, I FaceTimed him yesterday and I said, hey, who's showing up tomorrow? He goes, I got you, Coach. And that was the end of the conversation. I hung up. And I knew he had me. I knew from a defensive perspective he was going to be great. And he was. He shuts down their whole offense, and he can do that. And we're going to need more of that from him.
Final thing for you, Drake Nation turned out for you guys again, and you're on to the championship game. What's it mean to be on this stage, going to the championship game with all that has happened this year and with Drake Nation behind you?
Oh, it's awesome. Our kids earned it. I'd be lying if I said it had anything to do with me. It's our kids we brought in the program, our staff. I don't think people probably recognize how good of a staff we really have. They're elite. They're constantly talking to the kids, constantly talking to me, giving me suggestions. I get to be the guy that looks like he's doing stuff. So I'm fortunate to have the people in our program that we do.
Thanks for the levity in this time, Coach Mack. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
That is head coach Ben McCollum walking off. He's heading off to the podium. And if you are joining us on the Drake Athletics Facebook or YouTube pages, I think we got our issues from yesterday somewhat figured out, and you get a little behind-the-scenes action of kind of what happens here on Media Row during the post game. And it's Michael Admire along with Mike Swaim. And Mike, as we get a chance to kind of regroup here, I mean, what did you think about everything that just went down in those tense moments? You turn to Jackson on defense. You get the big stops. The guys get out running. You're down 12. You're facing adversity, and you don't get to where you want to go without going through adversity. And this team took it head on today.
Yeah, we talked at halftime, Michael, that this team hasn't been in that position. Down 12 at one point, down 9 at half. And I thought they answered that adversity bell very well. It started, all we said was they just needed to get a basket, a stop, and a basket. So what they do, they went to Bennett Sturts. He gets a 2, gets a 3 after a stop. And next thing you know, they're on a little bit of a mini run and the momentum switches. I thought one of the key things that nobody is really going to notice in the stat book is Isaiah Jackson picking up Carter Witt in the backcourt and disrupting that offense and the timing. In the first half, Belmont was able to do whatever they wanted, and Carter Witt was making things happen. And in the second half, Isaiah Jackson took that away, and it was a real struggle for Belmont, and I think that's a key factor for Drake here defensively in the second half.
I love Coach Mack telling us a story about calling Isaiah Jackson, FaceTiming him, and he says, one question, who's going to show up tomorrow? And Isaiah Jackson says, I got you. And then Coach Mack hangs up. That's all he needed to know. We were talking about in the broadcast. He went with his dogs down the stretch, and it paid off for him.
I don't think I've ever seen a team that is less concerned about playing time than this Drake Bulldog team. I mean, there are times where certain guys get minutes and other guys who have been getting minutes don't. And they always step up and answer the bell, whether they were getting minutes or not. Isaiah Jackson is a great case in point here. Cam Manyao, the last 2 games, has got more minutes than he had over the past 3 or 4 games. So I just love that mentality. It's the team first. And you know what? These guys got a championship to play for now tomorrow.
As a program, the Bulldogs have won 8 straight games down here at Arch Madness. They're just the second program to ever make it to 5 consecutive MVC title games. Of course, they have won the last 2 here in St. Louis, and we get to experience Championship Sunday in St. Louis. There is absolutely nothing better than that. 57-50 is the final. Bennett Sturts, 24 points, the player of the year, shows up when the team needed him most. That was a fun basketball game. We're going to continue to break it down on the Toyota post-game show. Courtside from St. Louis at the Enterprise Center. Bulldogs to the championship game, 57-50 over Belmont. You're listening to Drake Men's Basketball from Learfield.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We just lowered thousands and thousands of prices.
Hey, Michael, you'll have an extra about minute on.
1350 ESPN Des Moines.
Welcome back to the Toyota post-game show. Drake is on to the championship game here at Arch Madness for the 5th consecutive season. A 57-50 win over Belmont. Drake was once down 12 in the first half, chipped away at the end of the first half, beginning of the second half. It took them a while to get their first lead of the game, but when they did, boy, did the Bulldogs hang on for dear life. 57-50 is your final. Michael Admire, along with Mike Swaim, dear Wild Side. Toyota's got more all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles than any other brand. So get behind the wheel and take adventure to the top. Toyota, let's go places. If you're joining us here on radio, thank you so much. You also have the opportunity to pop over onto the Drake Athletics Facebook and YouTube pages. And interact with us if you're able to in the chats. We'll throw your comment up online. We're now joined here. We're going to be joined here shortly with Isaiah Jackson as he slides in here. Get a little inside look to behind the scenes. And now we are joined by Isaiah Jackson in the Toyota postgame show. And Isaiah, Coach McCollum a couple times this season against Northern Iowa, and then today said, I'm going to ride with my dogs in the most tense minutes. And you're one of his dogs. You've been with him a long time. He trusted you to have you out on the floor during that stretch, and you answered with some big steals and some big free throws. What was it like being out there today?
I mean, I don't want to say normal, but that's what we do. Like you said, dogs. You got to find a way, and we did. You know, the first half was pretty ugly, offensively and defensively. And I mean, a whole game, it wasn't what we had set out to be, our standards. So I don't know. I don't think we really did anything different. We just had to come out here focused and know what we had to do. Like, I mean, it started on the defensive end, and you know, I was happy to be part of that spark to keep us going and get that lead. And he trusted me to do that. So
when Coach Mack FaceTimed you yesterday and asked you who's going to show up tomorrow, he said that you said me, and then he hung up.
Yeah, he did. It was like maybe not even a 10-second FaceTime call. He was like, can I get that dude tomorrow? Like that guy that's going to go out there. And he said, can I get the best defender in the world tomorrow? So I was like, well, I mean, why not? Yeah.
That's incredible. Is that the first time you've had that kind of interaction, or does he
on FaceTime, man. Yeah. It was weird seeing the FaceTime, call from Mac, but then, I mean, other times, it's usually in person. So I know he was on working on the scout and watching film. So he called me and he asked me that. So
I told our audience, I thought one of the turning points in the second half, Isaiah, was you picking up Carter Witt in the backcourt and really throwing their offense off their timing. In the first half, he was able to do whatever he wanted. He was sort of going downhill. You took that away in the second half. How much just of a personal challenge defensively did you take it upon yourself one-on-one against Carter Witt in that second half?
All of it. That was my main goal coming into the game. Yesterday he got whatever he wanted. That's me. I mean, whoever is hot and is feeling good, the day before, they're going to try and do it again because they're on a streak and they're feeling good. So it's my job to come out here and, disrupt that, and I think I did a pretty good job.
It felt, when we went into halftime, it felt like you guys were down like 20 in the way you played. Yeah. But I told Michael, I looked up at the scoreboard, and I'm like, they're only down 9, and you get the ball. What was the attitude and the mood with the players? Not the coaching staff so much to make adjustments, but when you guys first went in that locker room, what was the mindset of the players?
The only thing that's going for us right now is that we have another 20 minutes. So it's halftime. And we're only down 9, and even Max said, he was like, it feels like we should be down 50. That's what it felt like. And he said, that's a good thing. We're playing so bad that we're down 9. I think we got it. And as players, as teammates, that's the first thing we said when we walked in. It's like, it's 9 points. We can't overreact. We can't, get in our feelings about what's going on. We have a whole nother 20 minutes, and we could do exactly what they did to us in the second half.
I love that you guys had adversity in this game, and you took it head on, and it leads you into a championship game. How this game happened and what it means exemplify what you guys are as a team and what you have done this season as Drake Bulldogs?
Like you said, simplified. Winners. That's what I can categorize us as winners. Find a way. It's not gonna be pretty. I mean, that's how it's always been. We just find a way, and whatever works, works. And I mean, we just trust in each other, and then we believe, and we know that we have to do it. I mean, it's win or go home time, so that's what we do, and that's what we've been doing for the last 4 years with Mac. And we're trying to bring that here, and it's working out, and I'm glad I can be a part of it.
I feel like Isaiah is now the third member of the broadcast. I mean, he's just fit in here so nicely.
We've had some really good interviews with Isaiah
Yeah.
this year, this season. It does. You're sort of a natural at this. Do you have any aspirations to get into broadcasting?
I don't know. I've never. I think my dad has always, harped on me about being presentable and speaking well. So that's something that will carry you through a lot of, interviews and then jobs. So I mean, he's harped on me about that a lot. So give credit to him because he's very well spoken and he passed it down to me. And you're gonna talk to people in your life, so why not be presentable and be respectful?
I know I love broadcasting. It's a ton of fun. I know Mike loves it as well. But I know you want to be a pilot, so that's the way to go. There's more money in that.
There's a lot more money.
I've looked at it. I've looked at the salaries and stuff like that. But I mean, that's not what I do it for. I love just the gracefulness of how planes fly. We can get into all that. I could talk about that forever. But yeah,
we'll save that for another conversation. A final thing here for you. Coming out of the locker room, Bennett Sturts goes on an 8-0 run by himself.
Yeah.
When you're player of the year and the guy that Bennett is, he's so selfless and so modest and wants to elevate his teams above his teammates above all. But when he kind of did that, what charge did that put into the rest of the team?
I think we've seen that plenty of times, and for him to actually go out there and do it, and us believe in him and be like, yeah, shoot the ball, we're gonna go get the rebound. We got T, we got Cam. I'm trying to fight my way in there, all these 7-footers and stuff. But I'm like, we're gonna get the rebound, no matter if you make or miss. So we're gonna go in there, and we believe in him. He's a MVP or player of the year for a reason, and he showed that tonight in a must-win situation. So.
And you're on to the championship tomorrow at 1:15. How do you rest, recover, get ready for tomorrow? And also, how much do you look forward to tip-off against either Valparaiso or Bradley?
We're gonna get ready by ice bath. We're gonna put some ice in that tub in the rooms. Gotta ice my ankle. It's still a little sore, but I mean, at this point, I can't sit out. And then now, I mean, looking forward to these two teams, Valpo and Bradley. I mean, you know who we want, but and I don't think it really matters. One game at a time. So whoever, we're gonna sit here and watch and see what they're about. So we're ready.
Isaiah Jackson on the Toyota postgame show. We could talk to you all evening, but let you catch up with your family. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Isaiah Jackson on the Toyota postgame show, and thanks for everybody for interacting on the Drake Athletics Facebook and YouTube pages, specific on the Facebook page, as the Bulldogs continue to celebrate their 57-50 victory and move on to a fifth consecutive Arch Madness championship game. Win number 29 on this season, most in program history. All year long, we felt like, okay, could they get to that point? They do on Saturday in St. Louis. History, this historic season continues on.
No question about it. I said that number 28 looks nice. Well, now 29 looks even nicer, but I tell you what would look great is number 30.
Nice round.
Yeah, nice round number. Let's cap this whole thing off.
All right, that is Mike Swaim. I'm Michael Admire. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with more on the Toyota postgame show. We're coming to you courtside from the Enterprise Center in downtown St. Louis. You're listening to Bulldog Basketball from Learfield. We are back on the Toyota postgame show. Drake has punched its ticket into Sunday's Arch Madness championship game, 57-50 over Belmont, trailed by as many as 12 in the first half. It was a 9-point difference at halftime, and Drake outscores Belmont 36-20 in the second half. During the broadcast, I looked over at Mike and I said, at one point this season, the Bulldogs outscored Belmont 39-21 and a half. It was the first half 69 days ago at the Knapp Center. They got close to that, didn't get all the way to it, but it's exactly what they needed to punch their ticket into the championship game.
Yeah, I think you and I both had the same attitude at halftime. It was just such a poorly played half by Drake, yet they were only up 9. They only needed a couple things to change momentum. And Isaiah Jackson said, look, we're lucky we got 20 more minutes because that first 20 was bad. But Coach Mack was like, I loved even Coach Mack saying, you know what, I was a bad coach in that first half. I overreacted. We didn't handle situations well. That's some great self-reflection. And for Drake to be able to come out, flip the script. At one point, Michael, you said the stats were almost reversed from what Belmont and Drake did in the first half compared to what they did in the second half. So just a great turnaround and shows a lot of resolve that this team has, and just sets up for a great Sunday for the Des Moines hometown team.
If you are within earshot of our radio broadcast, or if you're tuning in on the Drake Athletics Facebook or YouTube page, watching us from behind the scenes, and you're not in St. Louis, get here.
Yeah.
Let's make this a fun Sunday and cheer on Des Moines' hometown team to a potential three-peat down here at Arch Madness. All right, time now to name our Broadlawns Medical Center player of the game. Broadlawns Medical Center is the official healthcare provider of Drake Athletics, ensuring high-quality healthcare is accessible and affordable. Broadlawns Medical Center, a century of caring. Took us a while to get here, but here we are, and it's a hard one.
It is a hard one. There were a lot of key contributors to this game, but Michael, for Bennett Sturts to put this team on his back, to come out at halftime down 9 and score the first 8 points, and the next thing you saw was just this sea of blue standing and chanting, "Let's go, Drake." That performance, and then what he did just down the stretch, his clutch free throws. Bennett Sturts is, I believe, the player of the game.
24 points, 5 rebounds, clutch free throws down the stretch as well. He was 8 of 11 from the line, finishes with 4 steals on the defensive end. So there's your steals leader in the Missouri Valley Conference coming up big. And I think it did all kind of start for Drake on the defensive end with Bennett. We talked about how it started on the defensive end for them in this comeback, but Bennett was swiping the basketball away, getting out in transition and scoring for the Dogs.
Just his anticipation and his footwork and where he's at, it was just great. And again, it really helped flip the entire script of the game.
All right, so Bennett Sturts is your Broadlawns Medical Center player of the game. Bradley and Valparaiso are warming up in front of us here right now at the Enterprise Center. A few minutes until they get started. We'll see who Drake will play tomorrow at 1:15 in the championship game. All right, we're going to step aside for the final time, come back, and we'll wrap things up on the other side on the Toyota post-game show. You're listening to Bulldog Basketball from Learfield.
At Mid-American Energy.
.102.1 FM and 1350 ESPN, Des Moines sports leader.
Dear Wildside, Toyota has got more all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles than any other brand. Adventure waits for no one. So get behind the wheel and take adventure to the top. Toyota, let's go places. Welcome back to the Toyota post-game show, coming to you courtside here at the Enterprise Center in downtown St. Louis. Starting lineups are underway, getting ready for Bradley and Valpo, the second game of this Arch Madness semifinal Saturday. Drake already has punched its ticket into the championship game. 57-50 is the final. Michael Admire with Mike Swaim. The Dogs were down a dozen in the first half. They chip away and find their way all the way back into the lead, and then some, come up with key stops and key buckets and free throws down the stretch, and Drake is back into the championship game for the fifth consecutive season.
Once they got the lead, Michael, in the second half, they never relinquished it. Belmont was able to tie it, but never take the lead, and that's just a credit to this tough mindset that Drake has, and they're going to need every bit of it to come back and win a third game in 3 days.
Bulldogs get win number 29. It is the most wins in program history. That makes it, of course, the most wins by a first-year head coach in program history. And Coach Mack has these Bulldogs at 29-3 overall. Basically locked up their spot in the NCAA tournament. But you can confirm that with a win in the championship game. They'll play either the upstart Cinderella team of Arch Madness and the 11-seed Valparaiso Beacons, or the arch rival Bradley Braves.
Yeah, and one of the 3 losses that Drake has on the year to Bradley at home, a 2-point loss that Drake suffered at the Knapp Center. So either way, it's going to be a great championship atmosphere for Drake. There'll be a lot of blue in this place tomorrow for sure.
Want to thank our postseason sponsor, Hy-Vee, for helping us bring Drake basketball to you throughout March. All right, let's jump into today's box score. Start with individual performances. Bennett Sturtz, our Broadlawns Medical Center player of the game, 24 points, 4 steals, 5 rebounds. He also gets to the free throw line today, 8 of 11 from the line. Isaiah Howard, also a big boost for Drake today, 9 points, 1 of 5 from three-point range. It doesn't hit at a high percentage from there, but he brought that energy, does what he does. Tavion Banks, 6 points for the Bulldogs, 2 assists. He played 20 minutes of basketball. Cam Maniau, 4 points, 1 steal, a blocked shot, and 7 rebounds, including an offensive rebound and putback late in the game that put the Bulldogs up 52-50. Daniel Abreu was 7 points. He had a couple of blocked shots. He was 2 of 6 from the field. Isaiah Jackson was great, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 25 minutes, 2 steals, and those 2 steals led to 4 free throws and 4 points for the Bulldogs at the other end. Mitch Mascari, 0 of 5 from the field, over 4 from three-point range, 1 point, 2 turnovers, 1 steal. But in a tournament setting, you win and you get another day tomorrow. Kel Combs, Nate Ferguson also played today for the Bulldogs, but did not score. Belmont is paced by Sam Orms, 13 points. They just never let Belmont get enough going offensively and actually in both halves.
Yeah, there's no question. And again, they were running so cleanly in that first half and getting every look they wanted. They got a couple threes in transition. But in the second half, Drake holds them to 2 3-point shots and just completely, again, dominated defensively.
Now that's an incredible stat. 2 3-point shots in the second half.
2 for 12 is what Belmont went. So you make 2 and 2 for 12, 16%, Michael. That's the stat, I believe, when you start looking at the second half, from what Belmont was doing in the first half to what they did in the second, 16% from the three-point line.
Incredible. Let's continue with that theme, and you'll take over the team stats.
Belmont goes 20 for 50 for the game. They shoot 40%. They ultimately end up with 7 threes, 7 for 26 for 27%. I said the way that Belmont was going to have to win this, I mentioned this to a couple buddies of mine, they were going to have 10 threes today. It looked like they were in the first half, but then Drake quickly closed that off. Drake, how about this? Belmont only goes 3 for 6 from the foul line. 3 for 6. Listen to the free throws for Drake. In the second half, Drake goes 18 for 23 from the foul line. Big discrepancy there. Probably going to get talked about a little bit. Drake ends up shooting 17 for 44 for 38%. They go 4 for 19 for 21%. Overall, 19 for 25 from the line. And Drake ends up getting 10 points off of turnovers, 6 second chance points in that second half, which was a key, especially that one from Cam Manuel.
All right, Valpo and Bradley all set to tip off here in St. Louis. And if you can see behind us, a lot of a lot of Bradley fans have filtered in to the Enterprise Center. If you're watching on the Drake Athletics Facebook or YouTube page, especially on YouTube, you can go back and scroll back towards the beginning and check out our interviews with Coach Mack and also Cam Manuel. They joined us immediately after the game. Just watch this on repeat if you'd like. Also, Coach Mack, when he talked to us, was talking about the assistant coaches and the managers and pointed out a lot of guys. You can see over our shoulder right now, Connor Wheeler and Jesse Shaw. They are on the scout for these two teams, getting a little food in and getting the scout in. The work does not stop.
It never ends. It's a grind, and these guys are going to have a great game plan for whoever wins today.
All right, 57-50 is your final here in St. Louis, and we are going to close the curtain on this one here tonight. On behalf of Drake Athletics and Drake Sports Properties, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to another evening of Drake basketball on the radio. Bennett Sturtz, 24 points, 4 steals, 5 rebounds, leads the Bulldogs to a 57-50 win. It is a team effort, but Bennett shined on the biggest stage right when the Bulldogs needed him most. They were down 12, came back, saw adversity, looked at it in the face, and drove right through it. 57-50 is the final. The Bulldogs are into the championship game, a 5th trip to championship Sunday. It is a 29th win, the most in program history. They will play Bradley or Valparaiso for the Missouri Valley Conference automatic bid into the big dance. Thanks for listening to us on this Saturday night. For Mike Swaim, I'm Michael Admire. Good night from St. Louis. You've been listening to Drake Men's Basketball from Learfield. All right, awesome. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
You've been listening to Drake Bulldog Basketball, Des Moines' hometown team. Drake Basketball is produced by Drake Sports Properties and brought to you on the radio all season.